Hello, welcome to Module 3. This module is action-packed, so buckle your safety belts and get ready. So there's a lot going on here. We're going to talk about personalized professional development, which is kind of a hot topic right now in education. We're going to talk about instructional rounds, which I could actually give you some firsthand experience because my district's actually doing this at the high school level right now. And I was just a part of it just recently, actually, which was really cool. Talking about adult learning principles, which I think is sort of a secret weapon for anybody that's helping with leading professional development sessions or just kind of working with alongside other adults. It's super, super helpful to understand adult learning. And then also the Ohio Principal Standards, because we do have some new standards in Ohio that are very recent, and actually I helped write them. So pretty cool to be able to teach about something that I've worked on. But we're going to talk about those and unpack those and show how different they are from the previous standards. And I think that's going to be really important for all of you to understand that there's a real shift here in the state of Ohio towards instructional leadership, and that's very exciting to hear. All right, as far as the reading goes, we have our Glickman textbook here reading, looking at technical skills of instructional leadership, planning, assessing, observing, research, and evaluation. So kind of building towards that evaluation piece that we're going to be kind of concluding our class with here. So the first article that I have here is on personalized professional development for teachers. I really like this topic of personalized professional development. I am a person who has done a fair share of professional developing for my own district. And what's really interesting about this is that a lot of times, as I think everyone would agree, professional development happens in these huge sessions, usually at the beginning of the year or maybe once or twice throughout the year in these professional development days. And it's just sort of a one size fits all model. And I will tell you that a lot of the districts and a lot of the studies show this that are incorporating more of a personalized model. So people either have choices, but even more important, those choices align with the needs and kind of the level of where they are in their craft, so to say. And I think that's where you see a lot of success in professional development is a personalized approach. So I think you're going to enjoy reading about that. Now, these next two here, this previous Ohio standards and the current Ohio standards, the previous standards really are pretty light. I remember looking at them; they were written, I think, about almost over a decade ago, and the new standards that I was a part of here really fleshed out some of the more current roles that principals kind of take on that are quite a bit different. Because, as you know, I mean, when you think about maybe even 10 years ago, technology wasn't nearly as big as it is now. When you think about the kind of social emotional learning and being culturally responsive, these are things that weren't necessarily on anyone's radar or are not on most people's radar, but are a huge, huge and important part of making sure that children are both physically, emotionally safe at school, but also are just having a great experience at school, which all of those things are aligned really nicely with not only a student's well-being, but also their achievement, right? So those are important things that are really a part of these Ohio standards for principals. So I'm really excited for you guys to read those if you haven't done so already. And these, of course, are going to be aligned with the OPES system, which will evaluate principals down the road. So that's still another year or so out, but will be a part of the principals evaluation. A couple videos here: instructional leadership, adult learning, and then one on instructional rounds. And I'm going to talk a lot more about instructional rounds later here. So we'll kind of deal with that issue here in just a minute. The discussion question, looking at pretty much the old standards and the new standards, the principal standards, and how have they changed? And do you feel that they reflect kind of the current state of education? And it was a very interesting experience for me being a part of this revision team because I was the only teacher in the room. Everyone else was administrator. But why they had me there was a couple things. One was to give kind of a teacher's input, a teacher's perspective, but also teacher leadership because, as you know, in Ohio, teacher leadership is really booming. And there's a lot of great things that are going on. And since I was a part of all that teacher leadership work, they wanted my voice in there to really make sure that that was called out in the standards. And it is in a couple of places, which I think is excellent. So pretty cool stuff. Again, if anyone here works in a state other than Ohio, you can use your current standards and then maybe a previous version of the standards. Same assignment, just different state. That's totally fine. All right, as far as your reflection here, personalizing professional development, again, going back to that topic, a fantastic topic, and one that I think is really important and then ties in really nicely with adult learning too. Because I think if you can personalize professional development in a way that is in alignment with adult learning principles, I think it can be incredibly powerful for people for sure, and transformative for a school or school district. All right, so a very exciting assignment here. This is actually a version of an assignment I have done in another class, and I will tell you it was extremely successful and eye-opening for my students that have taken that class and done this a version of this assignment before. Basically, what you're going to be doing is completing instructional rounds for in your school, and you're going to be going and you're going to be observing other teachers. You're going to be doing kind of sort of like a walkthrough, basically, and if you read the full assignment, there's a whole bunch of other notes and all those other kind of things on there. But I think that it'll be really, really powerful for you to see what other people are doing. I can speak to this right now that in my own school district, there are a number of us. In fact, our building leadership team is actually completing these instructional rounds right now in teams. So we're going in groups of 2 or 3 people, and we are in a classroom for 5 minutes, maybe tops, looking for certain things. Maybe we go at the beginning of a class block, we're on block schedule, looking for effective opening or bell work. What are they doing at the beginning? We go towards the end. How are teachers incorporating closure? What are they doing to finish out a lesson? Are they doing exit tickets? Are they bringing the class back together and kind of synthesizing all the learning that had gone on that day, and then also kind of the meat and potatoes of the lesson, so to say, right in the middle, that active engagement. What are students doing? What are they creating? What are they producing? Do students know what the content standards are and why they're learning what they're learning, right? So these are going to be really great things that you're going to be able to find out in this assignment here. So basically what I did was I put forms on Blackboard. And what I'd like you to do is complete 5 instructional rounds. So these are short; these aren't very long. And I only posted 3 forms, so you can use a form a couple of times if you want. But I'd like you to do at least 5 of these because they are short, and you will find that especially if you can do them with somebody else, that would be great because then you can talk about what you saw. You can kind of see some areas of strength and maybe some areas of weakness. Now, these are not supposed to be evaluative. These are supposed to be a form of professional development for the people that complete the rounds. Okay, so it's a little different than what you might be thinking. I think a lot of times they hear this and like, oh, we're going to go see what other people are doing. Yes, but you're learning yourself about what other people are doing, and I can tell you. In just doing these at the high school level, I visited almost every classroom in our high school. Now we have over 100 teachers in our high school. Okay, so this was a big undertaking, and being a part of this instructional round experience, I learned so many wonderful things. I saw so many wonderful things going on with kids and teachers, and it was a great, great, great way for me to pick up a few things to serve in professional development sessions or with my own students. So, a great assignment. I can't say enough great things about it. So, I hope you really enjoy that and the rest of the things in this module. So, this is a pretty big module, but I think a lot of great things to be learned here. So, I will be quiet so that you can get going. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out at any time. All right, thanks. Have a great one.